Let your money make more money at TrueStone Financial. Visit TrueStoneFinancial.org or stop by any of their convenient locations to learn how easy it is to become a member. Switch today. TrueStone Financial is your neighborhood credit union.
APY equals annual percentage yield. Membership open to Twin Cities and St. Cloud residents. Balances over $20,000 earn a 0.10% APY. Conditions apply. Insured by NCUA.
If you purchased Roundup brand ready-to-use weed and grass killer or concentrate products for personal use, you may be entitled to payment from a proposed class action settlement. A complete list of the relevant Roundup products is available at roundupwgksettlement.com. This settlement is about product labeling, not personal injury. So physical injury is not necessary to make a claim. The deadline to file a claim is February 16th, 2021. Visit roundupwgksettlement.com for more information.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience, where you can find games, news, and highlights all in one place right on your TV. Follow the teams you love across your favorite sports. You can even use the voice remote to access stats and scores. With the Xfinity Sports Zone, everybody wins. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts have everything you need and will recommend the best options for your car, like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $27.99. Plus, earn double O Rewards points and get a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero. Live weekdays on FM 100.3 KFAN and iHeartRadio. Or download it or podcast it later. Just some of the many ways you can listen to the Fan. Vikings post-game coverage continues now with Vikings Overtime on FM 100.3 KFAN and the Fan Radio Network. Vikings Overtime is presented by Profile by Sanford, Comcast, and by TimberTech. Now with more post-game coverage of today's Vikings game, here's the Fans, Eric Nordquist, AJ Mansour, and Paul Lambert.
What's happening, sports fans? Your Minnesota Vikings lose 26-14. The offense had the game plan early on where they were just dominating on the ground. It looked like the Minnesota Vikings took it personal that they had this rush defense they heard about all week, and they came out really well in the first half with Dalvin Cook and the mixing it up with Kirk Cousins running a little. It was just a great game plan. And then when they scored on that first drive with Dalvin Cook and Dan Bailey misses the extra point, it all kind of went to hell. And it was just one of those classic Vikings game where they leave a ton of points on the field from missed extra points and field goals, 10 points to be exact, and they lose by 12.
How about that? They kind of going back to that, the theme, or just reiterating from last week, kind of my idea that every single week there's just this new, there's this new, are you kidding me type of situation with the team. Last week, watching Mike Glennon beat up our secondary a little bit and compete, pick 6 to Joe Schobert, just weird things happening. Bailey missed a couple of kicks, but I don't think Bailey was the A topic per se last week.
No,
he certainly was today. And that's just, again, in a game where you had to go down to Tampa and be absolutely perfect, to have that happen is awful. Now, the one thing I will say about this, maybe you guys think I'm wrong. So he misses the extra point and then he misses the chip shot. I believe that the head coach is partially responsible for Dan Bailey's L's today.
Go on.
Because I think and this is about a coach that I love, how stupid and emotional were you just intentionally setting your guy up to fail by trotting him out there for some 50-yard field goal?
54 yards.
54 yards.
Right.
Knowing he was 50% from 50 and beyond on the season in the first place.
Yeah, that's
Secondly,
a great take.
You've watched him miss 2 chip shots. If he misses, which frankly, I was already assuming he was going to miss, given what I had seen the previous 2 times up, you're putting Tom Brady in that offense in Tampa on an incredibly short field. You can go for it. You can take a couple of delay of games and give Colquitt extra room for a punt. Why on earth would you do that? I thought that was a preposterous decision, setting Bailey up to fail. No surprise that he misses again later on. So Bailey is the guy that's compensated more than fairly to go out and make those kicks.
Mm-hmm.
I put part of that on Zimmer with an awful decision doing what he did with that 50-plus yarder on Bailey.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly didn't help Dan and his confidence, but what it did is fully shift the momentum towards the side of Tampa Bay. I mean, it was they had just scored the previous drive to take, I think it was a 7-6 lead, and then you have that opportunity. It was right before the half too, right? I mean, it wasn't like right before, but you're talking 3 minutes left before the half. You have an opportunity to do something, and you throw them out there in a no-win situation. You give Captain Cool good field position. They trot down the field, get more points. I mean, it is a situation where we have talked every year. I mean, it hasn't gotten better, but it continues to pop up every once in a while. Is this game management with Mike Zimmer? Usually, it's the 2-minute drill. We saw it in the second half when they're wasting timeouts on stupid plays that maybe they would have been able to use on a final drive had it been a little different situation. But this game management situation, again, that's one of those deals there where it's almost like he doesn't make that decision until he's so steaming hot that he can't not make the decision, like he did for that 2-point conversion with Justin Jefferson in the second half. So it is a no-win situation. There's blame to be passed around. You mentioned, we've talked every week that this team has to play perfect games against playoff teams if they want to compete, because they're just not good enough to make mistakes and make up for them. Right. So if you have those situations, there weren't many turnovers today, but you give the turnovers per se by those missed field goals, and you give them decent field position each time. That forces everybody else to play differently. It forces Kirk to play different. It forces the defense to play from a spot where they maybe wouldn't have if they had made those points or done something different to just keep the field position. But that was the one right there. That was the turning point where it was like, it shifts momentum, it shifts everything, and it puts your kicker down even in a deeper hole. Yeah, that just annoyed me. And in the situation, and now Bailey's got to make those kicks too. So Bailey is not exempt. I don't think, I'm interested to see how they handle things over the next few days. I mean, week 14, trying to go find a different kicker, I think is probably out of the question. I don't know. But so, I mean, he was the A topic today, and it does change things to a point where maybe at the end of the game, they're driving to tie or take the lead. Right. Or maybe because of those extra points in the pocket and on the scoreboard, maybe Zimmer is handling things late in the first half differently. The ripple effect is tough. It's more difficult than just saying, what does 14 plus 10 points look like if he makes his kicks? That's where we would have been. It's hard to say that, but I can't believe it. At this point in the year, we are still finding unique and special ways to screw ourselves in football games. But that's what happens when we're now 6-7. That's what seasons look like typically, is mistakes coming from different areas. The consistent theme in a lot of this has been special teams related, from muffed kicks to poor coverage, and now the kicking game. We've already cut the long snapper, so I'm curious, maybe we should just take Austin, cut him back, and just be like, our bad. Can he kick? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's available. So it's just it's confounding, it's perplexing, and almost amusing, if that makes sense at this stage of the year, where you just kind of got to laugh at it because there's no answers to it. Yeah, there's none, and they played, other than the kicking, they played the absolute best way to beat that team. They took what they do really well against what that team does really well in the rush game. And for a while, I mean, I saw Ben Gessling tweeted that's the most rushing yards Tampa has given up in the first quarter. And they hadn't given up a 100-yard rusher in. Right, they were averaging 74 yards a game, and we had that in the first quarter. 71 quarter, something. Yeah, I think the last 100-yard rusher, the last individual to eclipse 100, may have been Chris Carson. Yeah, and it was like a year and a half ago, like week 8, week 9 of last year. So we beat down the best run defense in the NFL with our guy, and they had it in the first half. And it was our guys, too. Right. It was Dalvin. It was Boone. CJ got in the mix. Kirk was running. I mean, it was across the board. Yeah, everything that they had going was right. The blocking scheme to just block downhill with those guys and just get those guys out running. The temperature on the field they kept showing was like 100 degrees. They forced quick 3-and-outs with Tampa, and you're going, all right, they're going to get the ball back here, and they're going to run down this team's throat.
Then they had a couple of miscues and everything kind of went to hell. Brady hits that one deep pass. Then they go into half, and Ben said it on the broadcast. They weren't running around the edges. They're just running up the middle. And it was like, go back to what you were doing in the first half.
Right.
And they had the game plan to beat this team who's okay. I mean, this is a decent Tampa Bay team. I don't think this team will win the Super Bowl. This team might be the 6th or 7th seed in the playoffs. They're not even going to win their own division. And they had the opportunity and they couldn't do it. And it was exactly like we've said all year. They find different ways to screw it up. The kicking game takes so much momentum out of everything else. They have that awesome drive with Dalvin. They go down the field. Everyone tells them all week they can't run against this team, and they run it down their throat. They punch one in from 2 yards out. Dalvin gets up and just mean mugs that entire sideline of Tampa. And then before he can get to the sidelines, they miss the extra point. It's just deflating.
Yeah.
And that's all that happened all day. And then the offensive line, who's awesome in the rushing game in the first half, falls apart and gave up 6 sacks to and the guy in PA said it. I forgot who it was. The guy's first career sack from Tampa. And they're just, they collapse in the second half.
How about that scenario, late third quarter, early fourth quarter, where Bailey was set up for another field goal? They're first and goal, right? First and goal from the 9-yard line, I think the Vikings are. Something happens on the first down. Let's say it was an incomplete pass. And then they go sack, and you push that thing back to like a 45-yard field goal or something.
That was the 46-yard.
46-yard field goal. Sorry, 1 yard off.
Oh, good.
And again, Bailey misses it. I mean, you had an opportunity at what would have been at worst, a 26-yard field goal,
a chip shot,
or a 36-yard field goal, and you bump it back 10 more yards. You have this
first
bad opportunity.
First and goal at the A, you nailed it. And then Cousins is sacked.
Right.
Then he was sacked again.
Right. And there were so many times where you watch some of these other games and some of these other young quarterbacks who are going, I get it. Some of these guys take bad sacks. Kirk Cousins so many times takes the sack when you don't need it. Move out of the pocket like you were all day and get rid of the football. Yeah. Pete kept saying on the broadcast, you can't take a sack here. You can't take a sack here. Throw the ball out of the back of the end zone. You're not going to get an intentional grounding. Whip the ball out of the back of the end zone. He does it.
He does, and then he doesn't. Like in the first half, he didn't, and he took those sacks. But then when they're going on that final drive there on, was it the back-to-back fourth downs?
Yeah.
He was getting mugged.
And he made the play.
Made the play. But there's just something in his head. I don't know if it's the game situation that he is looking at things differently. And he just kind of looks like he becomes geriatric when the pocket collapses and he just kind of starts, doing the twinkle toes. And it's a weird, I don't know what it is.
because he's awful in the pocket.
Right.
I mean, that's just at this stage of his career, you have to accept that. So I saw this from a guy who covers the Bucs. And so 37 pass attempts, 33 rushing attempts. That's a total of 70 plays. And none of them went longer than 25 yards. As a matter of fact, the long rush of the day was Dalvin for 14. The long reception of the day, let me see here, it was 25 to Irv Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So no explosion today. Now, the TV copy, very limiting in terms of what you can see. And I know that they play basically with 2 safeties back in that Tampa 2 type of defense where, they're trying to eliminate some of the deep plays. But one thing that stung the Vikings, you like it early in the game when they keep Tom off the field with an 8.5-minute drive and however many plays it was to lead to that opening touchdown. But then when you're chasing, you needed explosions. And I was watching on one drive, it was like CJ Ham was playing Madden and playing himself in Madden and just calling the plays.
3 in a row to CJ.
I mean, no offense to CJ, who I love, or, it's cool to see that Conklin is getting involved in the offense.
That drive was all Conklin and CJ. And was the final part of it.
It was weird.
And so just whatever Tampa was either able to do or Kirk holding the ball too long in the pocket and not getting things to develop downfield. Again, I wish I could see what was happening where the Bucs were so effective at basically taking Thielen and Jefferson out of the equation for most of that game. When this offense thrives with the ability to explode at some point in the game, and that's been Dalvin, who tripped up on a few different attempts today, where it was goodbye type of run if he's able to keep on his feet. But overall, no explosion in the passing game either. So which may have led to whatever was happening and that pocket collapsing and Kirk hitting the turf. Kirk can't take half of those.
No,
I mean,
you got to get rid of it.
You got to get rid of it. It put us in some bad down and distance situations. So Kirk certainly culpable for some of that, but that's just a function of them shutting down our offense and us grinding it out early. And it kind of feels like second half, once Tom was able to get his legs under him, they just handled business, slowed everything down, and just kind of grinding us to a halt.
Yeah, we saw early on in that game, and listening to obviously the radio broadcast that I did, where you could exploit that team.
Were you listening locally?
Yeah, locally.
On the iHeartRadio app?
No, I was here, but you can do that?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I
you
didn't
just
know
download
that.
the app. By the way, the app is free.
Yeah.
You can listen locally.
But Bursich and PA and Lieber kept basically saying that you can attack this team over the middle, passing wise. You could attack this team. I mean, Irv Smith led your team with 63 yards. It's really bad when Justin Jefferson has 39 and Adam Thielen has 39, and CJ Ham has 22 receiving yards.
Right.
You can't, when all we heard is how this team can be attacked over the middle and down the field. That we've seen this team. All of us play fantasy football, man. We've seen this Tampa team get smoked down the field. And they have the big play offense to get back in a lot of these games, but we didn't see a lot of it. 63 yards for Irv Smith, 40. Tyler Conklin had 40 yards, one more than both Thielen and Jefferson. You didn't go down the field, and there were some points where they had the time. They're bringing in Rashad Hill before Brian O'Neill went out. They're bringing in the extra offensive lineman. They're bringing in, they're chipping with CJ and Dalvin, and then they just don't go down the field.
Yeah,
and it looked like, oh, you can stop the run. Well, here we go, and we're going to run it right at you. It worked like 4 drives, and then they didn't go down the field. I don't get that. They have the weapons to beat this team down the field, and they never did it.
I'm just going back to Kubiak's game plan early. I am impressed with the fact that they knew that Tampa was going to blitz a ton, which they did, and combating it with those outside runs with Dalvin and the success that they had. I mean, that part of it was impressive to me, but to your point, at some point that had to result in either a play action or a bootleg or something to go for all the money. You know what I mean? And to find that opportunity downfield. And so until, whether it's the Game Pass bid or something else, it'd be interesting to see exactly what Kirk saw and what he didn't take advantage of, because usually week to week, like any quarterback's going to miss a couple of plays. That's just going to happen. But I'm just curious, how Tampa Bay completely shut us down when they've done that to nobody basically all season.
Yeah, I mean, again, at the end of the day, there are some big holes on this team, and the criticism continues.
He threw it deep to Tajay Sharp.
Right. That was the one deep attempt.
Tajay was just mailing it in.
Yeah, I mean,
that was terrible.
Let's talk about that, I guess. Okay. That was a decision for the quarterback, right? But that play, for one reason or another, had the deep route, which you're on, try to score quick. You're down by 10-ish points at the time. I don't remember.
Down by 9
at the time. So 2 scores, no matter what it was.
It was a 3rd and a 13.
Right. And you run a play that has a deep route for Tajay Sharp when Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, the guys who you've been going to all day, and you have Tajay Sharp. I hadn't even seen him in the game. Earlier in the game, you're going to Chad Beebe, and he has a couple drops in a row. I don't know. Obviously the throws and who you're throwing to at some point is Kirk's decision, but I don't know if that was the first look for him or the second look, and he made the decision to go there. But there are some play calls down the stretch there where they're going on these, we need to score twice, okay? Under 6 minutes left, we need to score twice. And they're plotting slow-moving, running drives where the clock is running. You're muddled, and you have to take a timeout because nobody knew what that play was.
Nobody
knew what that play was.
That's embarrassing.
There were 4 people in the backfield.
That's on the head coach and some of the coaching staff. They're just in.
It's on OC.
Yeah, they put themselves in situations, coaching wise, where it's almost like, oh wait, we're in a 2-minute offense. Do we run that? Is that something we have?
But then was it the last 2 weeks? Okay, 2 weeks ago, Carolina, Kirk ran a beautiful 2-minute drive to get that game-winning field goal.
It's an awful football team.
But Tampa Bay's not a good football team either. The defense isn't much better than Carolina. Last week, they imposed their will. Granted, it was in overtime. You're tied. You don't have the time constraint. But they imposed their will on that drive, and then it kind of stalled, and they got the field goal. 2 weeks in a row, Kirk had done things that made me think that's the kind of Kirk we thought we were going to get, where he can do these 2-minute drives. He can bring a team back. He doesn't want to always do it, and he can't always do it. But if Dalvin can balance this and Kirk can show that he can do that, this team can be dynamic. And it wasn't there.
Yeah, it wasn't
at all.
In fairness, Kirk, I think against Carolina, they were only rushing like 3.
That doesn't matter for this team, though. But yes,
no,
I hear you. Yeah, you got a time.
Where they were. I mean, and
the Carolina play calling defensively in that last drive was awful.
The pressure
they wanted to lose.
Yeah. The pressure that the front four were getting today, in some cases without even blitzing, was. I mean, I shouldn't say impressive. It's an indictment of Dakota Dozier. Then you have, I think, Samia in the mix, and Rashad Hill at one point stepping in there on the right side as well. And it just wasn't good enough today. But I'm curious how they handle that, because I remember earlier in the season, PA was interviewing Kubiak. We do the Vikings report thing, and it was kind of we're getting there when PA was talking. Kirk in the huddle is, how's he? He's not certainly not calling his own game to the degree of a Tom Brady,
or a Manning, or
but does he have the ability to alter the formation or something? And it was kind of like we're evolving, we're getting there, that type of thing with Kirk.
Right.
And so in those moments when it's scattered and when everything's going so fast paced, the advantage against Carolina is we were getting those quick passes to the boundary, out of bounds, clock stops. And so now, it was almost like there was a rhythm to the offense where I don't think any time in the second half you could say this team had any semblance of rhythm going.
None.
And when the confusion hit, and maybe you needed Kirk to make a decision on something, or you needed the OC to do something that was, poignant, direct, this is what we're going to do with the game plan. They just kind of, I guess, collectively shook their heads at each other.
Right. Yeah.
However that works, from booth to the field, and just that's it. Taking a freaking timeout. And so you only have one timeout left when you're down 2 scores and you're less than 4 minutes left in the game. I mean, that's pitiful. Is basically moments like that are pitiful.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see, depending on how this season goes. I think we're assuming that there will be some changes in the coaching staff. We've been talking about special teams all year long. That seems to be one that might have a almost for sure change. But one thing we don't mention until it's the off season or whatever is Kirk. I think for the last 5 seasons, but for sure his time here in Minnesota, has had a different offensive coordinator every season. There has been overlap, so it hasn't been like a new offense entirely. But I wonder how much that actually factors in when you talk about Kirk getting there to be the quarterback on the field or the coach on the field that can make those play calls, has the green flag to change whatever he needs to do. I wonder how much that factors in, and if DiFilippo or whoever was the first one that he dealt with here, if they were still here, or if Kubiak had been here for 3 years now, would Kirk do that, or can Kirk not do that?
Well, DiFilippo's terrible.
Right, right.
Where is he
so let's
now?
go to the secondary.
Well, he's the QB coach in Chicago.
We just saw him. Yeah, that's right.
Foles.
Oh, yeah.
So DiFilippo, that's a huge.
So let's go Kubiak. If Kubiak had been here for 3 years,
yeah, sure. Maybe that rapport, chemistry, and just kind of a knowledge of everything. I think what a good props to Stefanski moment would be is the fact that clearly it wasn't, and all the respect in the world to Kubiak, he's won Super Bowls and all of that, but clearly enough has changed from whatever Stefanski was doing, where it wasn't necessarily the elder statesman up in the booth directing the puppet strings for Stefanski, and more or less this was indeed Stefanski's operation a year ago, to the degree where so much has changed in already a weird year that it did take a while to get the wheels turning in the right direction. But I don't know what kind of chemistry or what kind of autonomy that Kubiak brings him. And it's a setback, but we still look at all the same pieces in terms of the personnel for the most part. A lot of the verbiage would be mostly similar. So, maybe give him the 6 weeks when the team was 1-5 and he's throwing 3 picks in the first half against Atlanta and go, okay.
I forgot about that.
But once we got the train moving after the first half, I personally would not put
Kubiak being in his first year in charge of it as like a good excuse at this stage.
Sure.
So, but I've been trying to wonder that too, man. It's clear that enough has changed where there was a learning curve that was very difficult.
In a weird offseason.
Very awful to watch at times.
Right? You had no real offseason activities. You didn't have full training camp or a preseason.
Right.
So, I mean, that's weird, but everybody's dealing with that.
Yeah,
so
everybody,
we said this at the beginning. The teams that had no coaching turnover, the teams that had veteran leadership and veteran-based teams, which this team had neither, they're the ones that are going to succeed. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
This team is going to finish 8-8. I mean, just like we
at 1-5, we would have been happy.
Yeah, but just like we said when we wanted him to tank, this is going to be an 8-8 year. They're just going to finish 8-8 right in the middle. 8-8's terrible.
8-8 is not
8-8 is terrible.
It is.
It's just weird. Like this team was 1-5, and here we go. They're kicking ass, man, and they're beating up on bad football teams, but they're still winning games. They win in Green Bay when no one gave them a shot. And I thought maybe the same thing would happen today. I thought, hey, whoa, what a catch. I thought, whoa, maybe we can do something here against this football team in Tampa. They're coming off 2 straight losses. They're coming off the bye. There's always talk about the disgruntled nature between the head coach and the quarterback. This, that, whatever. Maybe we can sneak one out here. And then here we go. We're in the driver's seat. They didn't. No. It all went to hell like it normally does. And of course, it's the stupid kicker. I want to talk about that, what they're going to do with that when we come back. I can't wait because I don't know what the option is, but there's got to be a few of them out, and we might be in a weird situation because of the pandemic. It's Vikings overtime. They lose 26-14. They fall to 6-7. Tampa moves to 8-5. The Green Bay Packers are currently winning 28-14 over Detroit.
I don't know about you, Nordo, but I'm so glad that I made the move to a healthier lifestyle this year.
Oh, me too. After years of struggling with our weight, we both made the smart move to Profile by Sanford.
Yeah, the program is easy to follow, and the coaches are with you every step of the way to make sure you lose the weight and keep it off.
The results are amazing. There's no doubt about that. The only thing I wish is I would have done this sooner.
So you're saying that we shouldn't waste another day?
Brilliant.
Profile has 14 Minnesota locations. Go to profileplan.com and tell them that AJ and Nordo sent you. That's profileplan.com.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience, where you can find games, news, and highlights all in one place right on your TV. Follow the teams you love across your favorite sports. You can even use the voice remote to access stats and scores. With the Xfinity Sports Zone, everybody wins. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
It's Chris Hockey, the Power Trip Morning Show, just throwing shout-outs everywhere. This one I throw to Terrence in Rosemont. He just solved a huge problem facing so many homeowners right now. He wanted to buy a new home. He was afraid to put his on the market. And we're hearing that from so many people in Minnesota and Wisconsin, everywhere. Chris Lindahl Real Estate's the answer with the exclusive Guaranteed Offer program. He accepted his guaranteed offer knowing that he could choose his closing date. He took the time he needed to buy his next house, and then he went back and he closed on his home sale. Perfect. Terrence's story is just one of the many situations where Guaranteed Offer completely eliminates the biggest of headaches. That's why it's so popular. The days of cleaning, the days of decluttering, the days of showings, those days are over. And so are the days of not selling your home because you don't know where to go next, or the days of giving it away for a lowball offer because you don't know any better. Feel good about selling your home. Get it done today with chrislindahl.com. Apply for the Guaranteed Offer program at chrislindahl.com. Chris with a K. That's chrislindahl.com.
Hi, this is Jan. Thanks for calling Toyota.
Hi, Jan. I heard Toyotathon is on.
It sure is. We've got great year-end deals on Camry, RAV4, Tundra, Highlander, and more. Do you hear that?
That would be my mom. I'm home for the holidays, and apparently she's still eavesdropping on my calls like she used to.
Oh, what was that again about year-end deals?
Mom.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
And did I mention every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our 2-year or 25,000-mile maintenance plan? Toyotathon is on now. Come in today.
Right now, get 0.9% APR financing for 60 months on a new 2021 Camry or 2021 RAV4. Head into your local Toyota dealer today or visit Toyota.com for more details. Event ends January 4th. Toyota, let's go places.
0.9% APR financing for 60 months with $1,705 to $1,000 borrowed on approved credit from Toyota Financial Services. Excludes hybrid models. Does not include taxes, license, title registration fees, and dealer fees. Does not include college credit, military rebate. Varies by region. See dealer for details. Offer ends 1/4/21.
You decided to upgrade your outdoor deck. So you ordered the essentials. A power washer, a set of patio chairs, and a shiny new grill. And you use your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member, which you put towards your most essential deck addition, a bird feeder. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Money hooray, money for the holidays. Oh, what fun it could be with money for the holidays.
Need money for the holidays? Jackson Hewitt could help. Starting December 17th, come in and ask a Jackson Hewitt tax pro how you could get up to $700 fast with an early refund advance 0% APR loan by MetaBank. All you need to get started is a pay stub or other proof of income. Learn how at jacksonhewitt.com. Terms apply.
The radio home of the Minnesota Vikings. FM 100.3, KFXN Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Fan.
Come on, Dan. Snap spot. Bailey missed the extra point. My God. Come on. 36-yard try, left hash. Snap. Good. Spot down. Bailey missed it. He's broken. Are you kidding me? He's broken with a 54-yard try, right hash. Snap. Good. Spot down. Oh, my gosh. I mean, he missed it to his right snap spot. Dan Bailey missed it to the right. He's 0-3 on field goals now. He's missed all 4 kicks today.
Welcome back, Minnesota Vikings overtime. The Minnesota Vikings lose 26-14. You heard PA say it, guys. He missed all 4 kicks. We talked about it early on, the 54-yarder. Why even have the guy go out there? I mean, he's lost all his confidence. He had, I forgot, I think it was people, I think we were talking on the line, or maybe it was Corey in the studio when we were watching with Muss a little during the day. I mean, what a weird profession sports are. Pays well. I get that. It's great. I get that. But you're out there as Dan Bailey and you're like, I might be out of a job tomorrow, man. Like, How do you kick with any confidence knowing that you might be out of a job, and because of your past 2-week performance, you might be out of a career at that point.
Right.
It's just weird.
Zimmer has a track record of this.
Well, the special teams coaching has also been awful as well. We'll see what happens with that. I would assume Marwan, is it Marwan?
Marwan Malouf. Yep.
He'll be gone, I would assume, at the end of this season. I think there could be a lot of changes, but the guy's got the yips, man. I mean, the one field goal, PA had it on the call. He missed by 40 yards. I mean, it went dead right. Like, that was awful.
Yeah,
and then you send him out there for the 54. So my question to both of you is, if we can start with you, AJ, is does he get another week? And if not, what do they do? Because it's not like 2019 where you could just pick a guy up and go, all right, cool, we're bringing this guy in. It's got to be all the COVID protocol that they're going to have to go through that you can't. I mean, you're going to have to get a guy off the streets who's going to have to do what? Pass 6 straight tests or something?
I mean, remember Everson Griffin got traded to Detroit and he had to sit out a game.
Yeah.
And he was already in whatever protocol you want to call. I mean, he was already being tested from his time with Dallas. So I don't know. Even if they picked up somebody, I don't think that they would be able to play next week. That's a good question.
Right.
Well, if they have somebody, so do they have
the emergency kicker?
No, but somebody on their practice squad.
Yeah, the emergency kicker that's a new spot that they kind of created for that situation. They definitely do.
Because they had that Chase McLaughlin cat. They kept trying to protect him earlier in the year.
Right.
And then he went to, was he with Jacksonville last week? But Chase McLaughlin kicking for another team, so he's gone. I'm seeing a guy by the name of Tristan Vizcaino.
Okay.
Is Tristan Vizcaino the answer?
Now, is he our reserve guy or he's a free?
He's on the Vikings practice squad.
Correct.
So if he's on the practice squad, that means he's
in. Yeah.
He'd be within the protocol.
So what? He's a 1 year of service. I don't know who he was with last year, but he was in the league last year. I think that would be your only option, and you really have to think then, because do you then cut Dan Bailey, or do you deactivate him?
He doesn't appear to have attempted a kick.
Okay,
in the NFL. He's a Husky, Washington Huskies.
Yeah, so
I don't think you can go out and pick somebody up.
I don't think you can either.
I mean, I don't know anything about Vizcaino.
No, I think that's your option. I think that's
that
it.
has to be it.
So you have to decide that in a similar vein to the way
Right.
you treated the Austin Cutting issue, that this is untenable, can't deal with it, can't win with it, and you have to cut Dan and elevate at this stage of the year Tristan Vizcaino, while at the same time trying out kickers to go through the COVID protocol to replace if that's the way you're going to go about it.
Right, and you are in the middle of a playoff hunt still.
Right.
Whatever you think about this team's
it feels weird to say that.
potential in the playoffs,
You guys are beating me down on this.
But you're going to have to then say, okay, game-winning kick against Detroit, final week of the season. Are you going to trust Dan Bailey or Tristan Vizcaino?
Yeah, right.
Well, I would trust Dan Bailey.
I would too, I think.
Yeah, I think you have to, though.
But how do you build him back up between now and then? Is deactivating him for
I don't
a
have
week?
all the answers.
Sending a message? Is that the way to do it? You know, bench him a week and then see if he gets back? I'm not a kicker, but it seems that you're either very solid or very fragile, and you can get through stuff like the greats, or once you're broken, and you can't. Well, Mason Crosby a couple seasons ago got off to a terrible start for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And he's still the kicker there. They stuck with him. I don't know what they did. Clearly, every situation is different. But Bailey's not a young spring chicken. I mean, he's been through this before.
Yeah.
How do we get him out?
Technically, he's never been through this before.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, he was unbelievable.
The sixth most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL, I think.
And that's including into today.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was unbelievable at Dallas. It was like him and Robbie Gould were like the top two in the history of the NFL. And then something changed. Well, he came to Minnesota. Now, his last year in Dallas,
kickers
he was like
come to
75%, and then he was let go. So I don't know. I don't think at this stage of the year you can cut him. Now, next year, what's the financials look like?
Well, that's the thing, though. Didn't they sign him this offseason to like a 3-year? Don't they pay him like $3.3 million a year?
Let me sign a 3-year, $10 million contract.
How much of it's guaranteed?
$6 million.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know what you owe him if you cut him.
Let's see. Open up. Come on, computer.
I mean, did you know what I mean? Like,
what's up with our internet service here?
I have no idea.
Holy cats.
It's really slow.
Okay, so for 2021,
his cap hits 3.8.
3.8, dead cap 2.1.
So if you cut him, he'd be 2.1 against the books.
Right.
And then another one for 2022.
Right. So you're paying basically $3 million to get rid of
to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that you think there's a better option.
Right.
And they don't have a great track record of drafting.
And in the COVID bit,
or do they?
They do.
Right.
Actually, they do.
Good point.
Okay,
Yeah,
as completely jaw-droppingly annoyed as Saucy and I were 2 years ago now, 2018, Daniel Carlson, 5th round. We were at TCO. Couldn't believe before our eyes what the hell was going on. You draft a kicker. You traded up to get him. You're so bored with him, you cut him 4 games into his existence. And now, so far for the Raiders, he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
what's he like, 24 or 26?
I think he's missed one extra point and one field goal.
Yeah, I think he's 24 or 26. Because, of course,
somebody
we get tweeted at us all the time when stuff like that happens. Not bad, but that was the classic. Was that one game in?
It would have been week 2.
It was week 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another game we would have won.
We beat the Niners the week before.
And didn't we? Is that the tie we had in Green Bay?
The tie.
Yeah, that's hideous.
So if he cut a rookie, over a tie, what's he going to do with Dan Bailey after missing 4 kicks and torpedoing the game? Now, Dan Bailey's the A topic. There are 2 calls in this game. And I hate ripping the officiating because things can go our way, things can go the other way.
You're pulling up the tweet.
I mean, what I saw between Mike Evans falling down in the end zone, Gladney getting a pick, which, by the way, he didn't possess it until he was already clear of Evans.
Right.
That is a 100-yard return touchdown.
Yeah.
And no one was near him.
And it was the guy that did not have the best visual on the contact throwing the flag.
Fell.
There was another ref 2 feet from him. He thought it was good.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Mike fell.
Right. Mike fell.
He fell.
They were playing the normal patty cake
which
on his way down,
correct.
and Evans grabbed Gladney and pulled him down with him.
Right. It was, and then the
pass interference on the Hail Mary.
Kevin Seifert.
Oh, I saw this too. Yeah.
Before that PI call on the Vikings, there hasn't been a single pass interference call on a Hail Mary, offensive or defensive, since at least 09.
Yeah.
09.
09.
And that being said,
it wasn't,
even if you were going to call it, it wasn't a good call.
No, it wasn't a good call. And you can't
So
call
was the call. So was the call on, because Davis was turned around.
Yeah.
So, but you don't call that.
No, the call was on, it was Davis, and then Harris was on the backside, and Harris came in over the top. Harris just kind of turned sideways and put a shoulder into his back.
Anthony Harris is terrible.
He's
terrible. He's getting exposed. That touchdown to like the fourth wide receiver they had was all Anthony Harris. Everyone on the broadcast and even on the TV was going, what are they doing? What on earth are they doing?
I couldn't believe that.
With this play calling, a defensive play calling, and then Anthony Harris is just out there, what does Ben Lieber call it? Just a cowboy play where you just go out on your own, and he's just out there doing his own thing.
Well,
it was terrible.
We saw this earlier in the season, and not that you guys care about the Titans game at this stage, but earlier in the year, you remember a guy named Khalif Raymond for the Tennessee Titans. The answer is B. I don't remember him, and that's the right answer. You should never, ever have to remember a guy named Khalif Raymond. He is in the slot against Jeff Gladney, and it's a deep route, similar to what Scotty Miller ran, and I can't remember. It may have been Gladney today, or was it Dantzler or Jones? I think
it was Jones.
Okay, so, but similar play, similar route, and it was Anthony Harris who was the deep safety, and he was cheating up on like a slant or somebody coming across the middle who was covered and got caught in no man's land, and Khalif Raymond, of all people, completed like a 64-yard pass in that game against the Titans. He's caught in no man's land, purgatory. He doesn't know where. I shouldn't say he doesn't know where he's supposed to go, but it's the concept between instinct and reading the keys, right? And he made a huge mistake, and it resulted in a massive play. Almost the exact same thing today. I mean, Anthony Harris, what the hell happened to him?
Yeah, thankfully we didn't give him a big contract. I mean, obviously this year with the franchise, but man, can you imagine if it would have been a big, like 4-year deal and you'd be stuck with that right now?
I think they did the right thing, obviously, but here we go. What a weird game we currently have going on, Atlanta versus the Chargers. The Chargers are driving to make a game-winning field goal in regulation. Air Bear, as Charge calls him, throws an interception. 2 plays later, Matt Ryan airmails one off to the right, and the defensive back makes a great play on it. So it looks like
the drive before the Herbert one, Matt Ryan threw an interception too.
I mean, just bad quarterback play. I mean, these are basically just the same two teams. They're terrible. But here we are. Those games are 17-17. There's a lot going on. We come back. We'll go around the league.
Hey,
we'll let Nordo take a break because he's pissed about some things. But go ahead.
No, I'm not pissed about anything other than, how about this? 1 catch, 9 yards, touchdown. Laquan Treadwell scored for the Atlanta.
Hey, yeah, man.
Congratulations to Laquan.
Yeah, good for him.
That's all I got.
Yeah, all right. We'll come back. We'll go around the league. I was going to lead with that, but thanks a lot.
It's Barrero and Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant with a crucial reminder. Even in this COVID-19 winter of our discontent, if you're injured in an accident, do not wait. Right, Mike?
Exactly right, Dad. Waiting until the pandemic subsides is not the way you want to go.
Why is that so important?
If you wait, that can seriously affect your case, reducing or eliminating your settlement altogether.
How does waiting potentially weaken a victim's case?
It's simple. Much of the evidence we need to collect can fade over time, becoming less useful in court. At Bradshaw and Bryant, we're ready to get to work on your case right away to get you the compensation you deserve. And we'll do it while safely social distancing. We'll do everything we can to keep you safe, but still protected.
One phone call to you, right?
One phone call. I hope you're never injured in an accident, but if you are, don't wait and don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Sage advice from an experienced and licensed attorney who knows this business. He's Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant. More info at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
A new year means a new attitude, because it's not if you're going to date again, it's when. The professional matchmakers at It's Just Lunch know what it takes to bring the right people together. And nothing gives you a new outlook in a new year like a new relationship. The days of putting your life on hold are over. Visit itsjustlunchtwincities.com or call 612-355-2727 right now and make connection your resolution. It's Just Lunch. Connection awaits with guaranteed dates.
Money hooray, money hooray, money for the holidays. Oh, what fun it could be with money for the holidays.
Need money for the holidays? Jackson Hewitt could help. Starting December 17th, come in and ask a Jackson Hewitt tax pro how you could get up to $700 fast with an early refund advance 0% APR loan by Metabank. All you need to get started is a pay stub or other proof of income. Learn how at jacksonhewitt.com. Terms apply.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience, where you can find games, news, and highlights all in one place right on your TV. Follow the teams you love across your favorite sports. You can even use the voice remote to access stats and scores. With the Xfinity Sports Zone, everybody wins. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
Hey, it's AJ here with Nordo to tell you about our friends at Profile by Sanford.
Absolutely, AJ. These are difficult times, but one thing I'm thankful for this year is Profile's weight loss program. It's so easy to follow, the food's delicious, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. Thanks to Profile, I feel great and look better than I have in years.
You do look great, and it's a great time to say good riddance to 2020 and start the new year off right, and Profile can help.
Profile has 14 Minnesota locations. Go to profileplan.com and tell them that AJ and Nordo sent you. That's profileplan.com.
Switch your checking account over to TrueStone Financial and start spending more of your money on what matters to you. TrueStone Financial's fee-free value checking account has no monthly maintenance fee, and there's no minimum balance requirement. And how about these TrueStone perks? Mobile banking, making it easier to manage your money. Tap-to-pay debit cards for quick and highly secure checkouts. Access to more than 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs nationwide. And most important of all, free coin counting. Have you been thinking about making the switch to a credit union? Now's the time. Switch to TrueStone and enjoy great rates, best-in-class service, and simple financial tools so you can make the most of your money. Open your fee-free checking account today at any of TrueStone Financial's 10 convenient locations or visit tellmemoredan.com. That's tellmemoredan.com. TrueStone Financial is your neighborhood credit union.
$25 minimum opening balance. Membership open to Twin Cities and St. Cloud residents. Insured by NCUA.
We made USAA insurance for busy moms like Kate. She's a veteran made of flexibility to balance work, home, and her hobbies. From starting the workday to finishing her latest do-it-yourself project. So when another car accidentally bumped into hers while she was running an errand, Kate didn't let a little fender bender put a dent in her schedule. With just a few taps on her USAA mobile app, she filed her claim and was back on track. USAA insurance is made the way members like Kate need it, easy, and with savings that fit right into her budget, so she can get back to getting it all done. Switching you could save with USAA Auto Insurance. Get a quote today at USAA.com/auto. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. Ability to receive a quote depends on membership eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates.
Celebrate home with gifts from Lowe's, like Craftsman Mechanics tool sets with a full lifetime warranty, starting at just $39.98. And right now, save big on a Ring Spotlight security camera. It was $199 and now's just $159.99. Shop gifts in-store or from home on our app and Lowe's.com with free shipping on thousands of items, or pick up curbside for contactless service. Valid through December 31st. Mech tools valid through January 3rd, 2021. U.S. only.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, SimpliSafe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplisafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. SimpliSafe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplisafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
This is The Fan.
We are rubes like you, and we talk Vikings football every day, too. Join us weekdays 9 to noon. Now back to Vikings football.
Well, we're 4 of 4 on fourth down, Peter. And it's 4th and 13 from the Buccaneers 48. Empty backfield, 3 receivers right, 2 to the left. Cousins back to pass. The ball is hit, and it's a strip sack. It's picked off by Jason Pierre-Paul. And that is your ball game, boys and girls.
The Minnesota Vikings lose 26-14. They fall to 6-7. They fall out of the 7th playoff spot, at least for now. They will take on the Bears next week at home, where the Minnesota Vikings are a 3.5-point favorite as of right now. They were 6-point favorites entering today's action, but they've fallen to a 3.5-point favorite against Chicago, who absolutely destroyed the Texans. Let's start there if you guys want. Bears 36, Texans 7. Trubisky threw 3 touchdowns. David Montgomery ran for 113 and a touchdown, and Allen Robinson 123 yards and a touchdown. They dominated that Texans team.
Yeah, Montgomery had 80 yards on the first carry.
Oh, yeah.
And 33 the rest of the game.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Matthew Stafford out of the game, by the way, in this Detroit Green Bay game. Chase Daniel in for the quarterback. Looks like maybe a concussion related.
Yeah, he got a late hit. Shocking. I doubt they called it because it's the Packers. Anyhow, yeah. So Texans lose. They're 4-9, and of course, if you're a draft guy like I am, their first round pick goes to Miami.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Colts 44. That game just ended. Colts 44. Raiders 27. Derek Carr 316, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor 150 and 2 touchdowns. The Colts are 9-4. Man, the Raiders are 7-6. They got off to a good start, and they've kind of just fallen apart here.
Yeah, the Raiders, weird team.
Right.
But I'd say that the Raiders are kind of similar to the Vikings in regards to, you hope that offense just works all the time. And then when it's on, it can be amazing and special, and we're all in awe. But then other times they make weird mistakes that completely bleep it up for themselves. So the Raiders are, they're an average team at this stage, just like the Vikings are.
Didn't they beat Kansas City?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And so it's kind of like
week one. Was it week one?
I think it was more recent than that.
Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was first quarter of the season.
Yeah, it was early.
It was earlier on. But then who did they beat?
Miami.
Well, they've beat a couple of good teams this year. It's kind of like the Vikings who go to Lambeau and win, and then we struggle with the freaking Jaguars the way we did a week ago. So just shifty, odd, summing up 2020, the Raiders.
Seahawks 40-40. The Jets 3. I think who's their backup guy went to West Virginia? Geno Smith. He played in the 3rd quarter.
Oh, nice.
That's how bad this game was. Russell threw for 4 touchdowns. Chris Carson ran for 1. Metcalf had 1, but a just domination by the Seahawks, who are now 9-4, and your Jets are 0-13.
Yeah, they'll get the first pick.
Last week, I think, squashed the rest of their season.
Yeah, I mean, they're just awful.
Yeah, they're a terrible team.
They're just so bad. I don't know. How does that guy still have a job? How is Adam Gase still the head coach?
I don't know.
So weird.
At this point in the season, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're
Cowboys 30, Bengals 7. The Cowboys are 4-9. Just a weird game. They had I think the Cowboys scored 2 touchdowns on defense. The Bengals, I think, first 3 possessions were turnovers. Awful.
Yeah, they're bad.
What an awful game that is. Chiefs down at 1 point 10-0. They score 33 points to beat the Dolphins 33-27. Mahomes did throw 3 interceptions. He threw 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, who just continues to dominate, 136 yards and a touchdown. That Chiefs team is 12-1. The Finns, though, are 8-5. Are they going to make the playoffs?
Ooh, I'm not familiar enough with the situation over there, but they're doing some things to do that. I mean, that division is up in the air. It never was in the past, and this year it is. So
right now they're in the 7th spot.
Are they? Nice.
But the issue for them, for instance, is the Raiders. If they get out with a win over Cleveland, then where does that put them?
in terms of tiebreakers because they'll be 8-5. It was good for them that the Raiders lost. It was good for them that the Patriots lost. But they're in a similar meat grinder that the Vikings are in. They just have the advantage of being in the playoff spot despite losing.
Right.
So they're the team other groups are chasing, whereas the Vikings were just crossing our fingers that Kyler sucks and we went out.
Yeah, speaking of that, Cardinals 26, Giants 7. Murray threw for a touchdown. Kenyon Drake 80 yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins 136, no touchdown. But that Cardinals team, man, had kind of faltered, but they got a big win. The Giants are no joke. Even though they're 5-8, they are pretty good defensively. And they somehow are 5-8 because they have no Saquon.
If I'm a Giants fan, I'm pissed about that game, though. You go out to Seattle and do what you do last week, and you get a win, which is why the just annihilation the Seahawks.
Well, yeah, you
the
knew
Jets
that was
today
going to
pretty
happen.
predictable,
yeah.
but for the Jets to lay down the way they did, and I think Daniel Jones came back, didn't he? Didn't Daniel Jones play today?
Did. Yeah, he did.
He came back, but Colt McCoy finished the game
because I think it was basically
was that why?
blowout, I think, or he re-aggravated it. Was it his hamstring?
It was a hamstring. Yeah. I'd be pissed if I was a Giants fan. You had an opportunity, regardless of what happens in this Washington game right now, to start kind of solidifying that division championship in a playoff berth, and they completely screwed it up.
Right.
How about this, man? Broncos 32, Panthers 27. Drew, it's Lock, right? Drew Lock.
Yes.
4 touchdowns. KJ Hamler, who you loved, Nordo, coming out of Penn State.
Oh, yeah, I loved him.
86 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He was my favorite wide receiver in the draft, to be honest.
That's saying a lot.
No, it's not true. He's really fast.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns, man.
So did you watch them? Who was it? Against the Chiefs, maybe? Was it Sunday night or Monday night?
Sunday or Monday, yeah. Who knows? Tuesday night, maybe.
But it was odd. Like, Drew Lock's the guy, he's the anti-Kirk, where he's going to throw it downfield every single time. Right. Whereas Kirk,
he's a gunslinger.
Yeah. And a new school one that needs to grow up and kind of learn how to connect on
there are a lot of people who don't like him. Yeah.
But he leaves the 8 and 9 yard receptions are there all day,
all day,
wide open. And they were even showing it. I think it was on ESPN. They were showing Noah Fant just basically, he could sit down and eat a sandwich. He's so wide open, waiting for Locke to connect. And instead it's deep. It's deep. Right. It's deep. And he just wants to hit the big throws all the time. And maybe if he learns how to be more judicious with the ball and maybe make smarter decisions, he'll get more results like he did today. So good for him. But man, he's kind of got the look at me, and he hasn't done anything yet, which I think probably would irk people.
Titans 31, Jags 10, Derrick Henry 215 and 2 touchdowns. He's so good.
Oh, the Titans didn't have to go to overtime to beat the formidable Jaguars today. Okay.
Chargers 20, Falcons 17. The Chargers come back at the victory. Herbert throws for 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler 79 yards on the ground. I think he had something like 5 through the air.
Really?
Or excuse me, 50 something through the air. So
yeah,
that's the guy Hockey took. I thought he would maybe do something.
Got some yards, but not much more.
Yeah, no touchdowns. The Eagles. How about
Matt Prater just made a field goal.
How about this?
That's what a made field goal looks like.
Yeah,
it's weird.
How about this for like the not upset of the day, but it would be.
I think it would be.
Eagles 24, the Saints 14. Now the Saints have the ball on the Eagles 20, but Taysom Hill is thrown for a touchdown. Let me get this up here. Miles Sanders 2 touchdowns on 150 yards, and I think Hurts has at least 1 touchdown through the air. I mean, good for him, man.
Right.
No one thinks you're going to win. You're up against one of the best defenses in football, albeit you're at home. The Wentz thing possibly could be over. That's another thing why you overpay for these guys. And then here you go with all this money that you're now going to have to pay them. It's over for them. Packers up 31-24. Next week, 3.5-point favorites against the Bears. Nordo, your quick thoughts.
It's not over for the Vikings, baby. Just win out. There it is. That's
they're going to have to win out, and they need to not do what they did today and make the stupid mistakes.
Yeah, your Minnesota Vikings lose 26-14. They fall to 6-3. Cousins 1 touchdown. Dalvin Cook 102 and a touchdown. Weird game for them. They dominated the first half on the ground. Couldn't get that going in the second half. But They do lose, but Tampa goes to 8-5. The Vikings fall out of a playoff spot. More tomorrow on the Power Trip PA. Common and Barrero will have you covered all day. Plenty of stuff on KFAN.com. Thanks for Brett, all your work. Thank you to Zach Halverson for basically just sitting here and staring into the sun.